Welcome back to my podcast. This is Sunita, and I am with my friend John. He's from Nigeria, and today we are talking about his journey from the musician to the software engineer. Let's welcome him in my podcast without taking time. Welcome, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation, John. Can you just tell me about yourself?
All right. Thank you very much, Sunita. So I am John Ifeanyi Omeokwe. I'm a software engineer. I've spent over 8 years working in software industry. I specialize in helping companies to translate software requirements to working features. I have contributed notably in fields like e-commerce, educational technology, open source, environmental management, and finance and accounting, and also in health insurance. The notable contributions in varying companies, some in Nigeria, some in Europe, and some in the US, have helped these companies to take their products live, take their products to production. I'm a full stack engineer. I've learned a bit of mobile. I also practice a bit of mobile, and I had recent interest in 3D and AR and VR. So I'm working on projects related to AR and VR. And also, I'm advancing my career to becoming a software architect. So that's just summary about me at the moment.
Thank you so much for your like a brief introduction. So you are a musician previously, and now you are a software engineer. How is that transformation happens for you?
Okay, thank you for that question. Well, initially, we like growing up for me, I've had interest in the world of computing. I mean, I started browsing the web, I think when I was 7 to 8 years old. I started using computer at that age. And I love things related to computers, but then along the line, I fell in love with music. Initially, my career path was more of like in the professional aspect regarding music. So I joined a number of orchestras. I was once a classical pianist, and I also had interest in jazz music later on. And I learned the saxophone, and I joined a number of bands, and I learned lots of jazz standards and classics and all. And so along the line, a friend of mine who is also a musician, he transitioned into tech, and then he invited me over. He was like, "Okay, are you interested in this in tech?" He explained the opportunities in tech, and everything got me excited, and I said, "Okay, let me give it a shot." And here I am today. Yeah, so
Okay,
that's how
so
I.
you
I
mean
s-
you
Mhm.
okay? So it you mean you did not learn the computer or the anything in your academic, or how is that? You did self learning?
Yeah, it's self-taught actually. Self-taught. I never went to any higher institution for computer studies. No, the only computer knowledge,
No.
formal computer knowledge I acquired was back in high school. I was once the while I was in high school, I was nominated as the best student in computer science. So it was just a frenzy for me. It was I didn't really see it as something I'll be doing in my long term in my career, but here I am today.
Oh, that's really very good, right? You learn by yourself, and now you are a software engineer. Is there any like challenges that you have faced when you are initially in a tech like company?
Well, challenges are part of the whole process. So I have actually faced a number of challenges, especially when I was still starting up, this career journey. I had challenges with understanding the different technologies. I had challenges with engineering them, modifying them to fit in with some varying software requirements. So I had multiple challenges with just, trying to contribute my best in the job that I was given, and all that and all that. And the tech scene is one that we have multiple changes. So we keep on having the version of React today is not the version it was when I started learning React. So we keep on having these changes and transitions. So as a software engineer, one needs to continue updating, upgrading oneself. So it's a continuous learning process. So it was quite challenging to me, knowing that I'm coming from a field where the same way the major scale is in music today, it has also always been the same way for years back. There's not much of rapid changes in music as we have in tech. But I've gotten used to it, and I think I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, so you enjoy your work, right? Your like software development. So you do everything. You mean like front end and the back end. And did you also do the DevOps work as well, like deploying the code?
Yeah, actually, I also
Yeah.
do DevOps, but that's not my main specialization. Working as a full stack engineer really exposed me to a lot of things. At first, I started as a front end developer, so I'm learning back end technologies, and then in one of my positions in one of my recent companies, I was also tasked with managing the deployment and stuffs like that regarding the app. So that made me to learn the basics of deploying into different web servers, using different services, using things like Kubernetes and stuff like that to manage deployments and all. So yeah, it's just more of the basic thing that would help me get the work done.
Okay, so yeah, I think you being a like a full stack developer, we need to learn everything like from the starting from the SDLC, like a software development lifecycle, like from the planning to the deployment, where it is like in the production, we need to be involved, right? As a development, that is very good that you have all the knowledge on that.
It's, I meant to understand.
So, what is your interest or the hobbies you have?
Yeah. So growing up I've always loved playing music. So my the music is definitely one of my best hobbies. So aside from music, playing the different instruments, piano, saxophone, guitar, it helps me relax, and that's how I actually ease off the stress of work and other stuff. So I also like listening to good music too. So I like attending live performances of great bands and just watch and get entertained. And I also love gaming too. I My favorite game is Apex Legends. I play that, and also Call of Duty. Yeah, those are my two favorite games. So those are my hobbies. Those are the things I love doing if I'm not working. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I think from the childhood only you are into the music. So yeah, now also when you have a free time, you will still doing that.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, how do you feel like music and the IT? How do you compare with? Is it like same? The music is one of the art, and in IT, engineer is also one of the like creating a new like the website. Everything is from the scratch, right? So, how do you compare? How do you feel that?
Okay, so music is more of like creativity, it's more of you being inspired and performing and all that. And initially, when I started off in music, I started with classical music and all. And so migrating into jazz and contemporary had more of artistic vibe, lots of creativity, spontaneity, and you have much more avenue to just be creative with the chord progressions and all that. So coming into tech, actually tech, if you ask me from my own end, I see it as also being artistic in the right sense. Okay, being artistic, not that it's among the arts, but for instance, when I'm trying to develop a nice library to solve a problem or write an algorithm to solve a problem, I'm thinking outside the box. I'm trying to see a way that I can utilize the tools that are available to me to solve that problem in a very efficient way. It's similar to music when you have a number of notes available to you and you're trying to combine all of them to form a melody or a harmony that would make sense. Okay, so they are a bit related. So I see both of them as just being creative. Actually, at the height of being a software engineer, that's where you have more creativity. That's where you have great minds like Mark Zuckerberg and many other great minds infusing their creativity from their artistic mind into technology. So there is a bit of correlation between the creativity in music and the creativity in tech, and I'm enjoying both.
Yeah, that is good. So, how is the culture in the IT over there? Is it like difficult to find the job, or how's the situation over there?
Well, here in Nigeria, I would say regarding the IT job market, so we just a developing country, but there seem to be quite a number of opportunities. They we keep on having different job postings every week. They might not be so much like you might not be able to compare it with countries like yours, like the US and all other well developed countries. I really think that the Nigeria tech market is it's not just restricted to Nigeria alone. So we have a
Mhm.
number of tech professionals here in Nigeria that are working for many companies that are in Europe, many companies in other countries in Africa, many companies in the US, and aside from just working for the Nigerian companies. So it's kind of mixed. So
Mhm.
there's kind of a bit of balance, but there is no much I don't think there's much avenue for newbies. I don't think there's much avenue for people who are just coming into tech, because most of the companies here in Nigeria, since Nigeria is so much saturated with a lot of tech talent, most of them prefer to get the best of the best. So there is a huge competition regarding that. So it's only those who are high enough, like those who have accumulated enough knowledge to deliver as one of the best in their fields, that eventually gets the job. But there are job opportunities, but like I said, most of the Nigerian tech talent are diverse. They don't just work in Nigeria alone, they work with a lot of multinationals. And that's what makes Nigeria tech market booming actually.
Okay, so I think now the IT, like the market is really very globalized, right? So
Mhm.
from any place we can work right remotely. So it is very like good opportunity for the IT people who can work. He have or he or she have a good knowledge on the IT. They can work for any country. There is no any like the place like the related. I don't know how to
There's no
say that.
restriction. There's no
Yeah,
restriction on where to work.
work. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that is very good, right?
Yeah, it is actually. It is. I really believe that this just opened doors for lots of persons in areas that might not have all the necessary tools and development needed to actually contribute. Understand? Take for instance, in the world of AI, we have lots of advancements from different startups all over the world, and a number of them. Some of these startups they outsource because the talent pool might not, based on their budgeting, they might actually get something that is substantial with a very good pay in another country, located, miles away. So it makes the tech community to become something global. So now work
Globalized.
is no longer just restricted to where I live, but it's just restricted
Mhm.
to how much I know and how much I can contribute to the space. So I'm really enjoying it actually, and I really think that this has come to stay. Yeah.
Yes, yes, of course. And so I want to learn more about Nigeria. Can you tell me any culture or tradition you have famous in Nigeria?
Okay. Actually, Nigeria is very culturally diverse. So let me put it in a plain way. Nigeria has a number of tribes. We have three major tribes. Major tribes are the Igbo tribe, the Yoruba tribe, and the Hausa tribe. Amongst this tribe, there are other ethnic groups, who have different variation of languages, different variation of cultures. There are so much that they are in hundreds, if I'm not mistaken. We have multiple tribes here, but the dominant ones are just these three that I mentioned. And there are some cultures that are being observed in some areas. Okay, like for instance, in the Yoruba culture, there is a periodic thing they have which they call the Oro Festival. Okay, so in the Oro Festival, there is restriction of movement. There are some, festivities that go on in some areas of Lagos State for sure, because I stay in Lagos State, so I've witnessed it before. In my tribe, because I'm from the Igbo tribe, in my tribe, in my community, in my town, we have what is called New Yam Festival. That's when the farmers bring out the new yam to celebrate. They celebrate the harvesting period when they
Mhm.
harvest from their farms. And they also have there is also one they call Mwafo Festival in my town, which is very unique to my town. It's one of the greatest festivals that is being celebrated in Ogidi Town, Anambra State today. So we have multiple other towns, other communities have their varying cultures and traditions. So yeah, it just depends on where you find yourself. So if you find yourself in the northern parts of Nigeria, you would experience more of the northern culture. If you find yourself in the southwestern part, you experience more of the Yoruba culture, and in the southeastern part, you experience more of the Igbo culture. So I mean, it's a lovely place to be. Maybe one day you come visit and you you experience it for yourself.
Yeah, that's really very interesting to know about that. You have a diverse culture. How did you celebrate New Year or the Christmas? Anything over there?
Yeah, actually, okay. Aside from the culture, like aside from the cultural festivities, we also
Mm-hmm.
observe religious festivities. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the two main religions in Nigeria presently is Christianity and Islamic religion. They are the two
Okay.
dominant religions in Nigeria. So most of the festivities related to Christianity are being observed here. So we observe things like even on Easter holidays, Christmas holidays, things like that. Like we observe them here. And also most of the trends in the Islamic religion, like when they're fasting and when they're breaking the fast and all that. We also observe some of those holidays, those holy days. We call them holy days. So we observe
Mm-hmm.
them here in Nigeria. So we do celebrate Christmas, we celebrate New Year, we celebrate Easter, we celebrate multiple things in even the Islamic religion. Like I said, is multicultural, and also regarding religion, we don't have a specific religion for all. So we do observe, we take note of our differences, and we celebrate with one another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really very cool. So, did you celebrate like a Halloween?
In Nigeria, I don't think Halloween is so much famous actually.
Okay.
So on the day, I think if I'm not mistaken, Halloween is celebrated on the 1st of November, right?
First October, the last day of the October. So 31st October will be the Halloween. It was like yesterday in our country, like USA. So it
Mhm.
was really fun for the kids, mainly for the kids, because they go every home, right? In the
Mhm.
community, they go every home. They get the chocolates and the treats, and they are like happy. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, but here we don't really. It's not so popular because the 1st of November every year is what most Christians, I mean, to be more specific, the Roman Catholics, they celebrate the All Saints Day, and then the 2nd of November they celebrate also. So Halloween is not so famous. So
Okay.
most times we do look out for 1st of November and 2nd of November in the Christian community. Yeah.
Okay. I'm come from different country from the Nepal, and we also didn't celebrate that Halloween and the New Year when we are small, like when we are kids. But now in Nepal, in my country, they are celebrating both like Western culture and the Nepalese, like a Nepalese culture. So they are
No.
doing both. So yeah,
Oh,
just want to
that's
know
cool.
if Nigeria also have a same thing going on. So
Yeah.
curious on that. So that's why.
Yeah. It's cool. We
Mm.
have other things that we do celebrate with the West, something like Valentine's Day. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we do celebrate that, and a few others. There are some recent trends that I've heard of,
Yeah.
things like maybe boyfriend day, girlfriend day, stuffs like that that are popular in the West. And some
Mm-hmm.
of our youths also celebrate that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool, right? We can get we can introduce like different other Western culture also in our country, so we can have good knowledge on that as well. So yeah, I think that is good. So regarding like the Nigerian, do you have any like a big festival like you celebrate big festival? What is the like big festival or the you celebrate most?
Okay, now to be very honest, okay, first, while growing up, actually, while in school, the two days that we didn't want to miss out on was Children's Day. It's been celebrated Children's Day and Independence Day. Okay, so
Okay.
Nigeria, we gained our independence in the first of October 1960,
Okay.
and so we do celebrate that every year. So it's a very is a national event actually. And but I would say in terms of something that is so big that I mean the whole of Nigeria feels like a very huge festival that drives through the whole of Nigeria. It usually occurs towards the end of the year. So towards the end of the year, we have 25th of December, which is Christmas Day. And then we
Hmm.
have, at the beginning of the year, we have 1st of January, which is the New Year. So
Hmm.
this period is like the whole of Nigeria like goes out to celebrate because um those that are not even Christians, they also celebrate this because it's a time of celebration to mark the end of the year and mark the beginning of a new year. It's like the if you want to visit a time when the whole of Nigeria practically or literally goes on vacation, it's towards the end of the year. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. The here also the holiday season is coming, right? We have just in the November, and we hit the like there will be the Thanksgiving on this month. So there will be the
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, and in after that there will be the Christmas, and then New Year. So the holiday is coming soon.
Yeah.
So I think you are also excited for the Christmas and the New Year, right? So do you have any
Yeah.
New Year resolution?
Well, okay. Yeah, I do have a New Year resolution. Okay. I was gonna I was gonna mention this, but let me just hint out on it. So I do have a New Year resolution. I plan on building up a company. So I have a New Year resolution to ensure that it grows and to put in my best into it. Make sure nurture it well so that it would grow so that I can create more job opportunities for people around and also solve more problems for the society. So yeah, that's my New Year resolution.
So
Okay.
good. Yeah, so nice. Thank you for sharing your resolution. And yeah, I'm so happy for that. And best of luck for your resolution. Hope you will success on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, if anybody wants to join the IT, so how do you do the advice? How do you give any tips to the people if they want to join in IT? How do you advise them? Just go to the do the self learning, or just take some certification, or like the course, like a boot camp, and start working on that. So, how is your opinion on that?
Okay. First off, anyone that wants to join IT, come into the tech come into tech industry. The first thing, if I were to advise them, the first thing I would tell them is that they have to have fun. Okay. So the thing is, tech is a very broad field. Okay, it's very broad, and there are lots of moving parts. Could be very difficult at first, but I found out that just having fun, not in the sense that one doesn't take tech serious, but having fun in enjoying every moment, having fun in learning new things, having fun in building things that you love, have fun in studying the technology, the different tech stack. That's the first step. Just have fun in it. Have fun in reading about the different career paths and choosing the right one. Just see it as a journey, as an adventure to explore. Once you're coming in with this mindset, there is a huge chance that you're going to succeed. So you're having fun, you're doing the things you love, you're engaging in activities that you love. If you want to go for boot camps, you can go for boot camps, get to meet some peers there, make friends, connect with them, learn together, grow up together. If you want to go through the self-learning path, try to explore the different career paths. Choose one that you think you're interested in, and have fun in learning everything. That's the first thing I would advise. Then, secondly, I would say definitely after having fun and choosing a career path and studying the technologies and learning, I would advise to take one technology at a time. So the technologies are kind of they are broad. Like for instance, if one wanted to become a front end developer, you have a number of front end frameworks. You have Angular, you have React, you have Vue.js, you have different technologies, and it could be overwhelming. And for some newbies, they might want to grab everything at once, and at the end of the day, they'll just slop. So I would advise take one technology at a time. Okay. If you're going into mobile development, and you might just take one technology, probably React Native or Swift or, Flutter. If you're going into front end development, so take one technology and study it. Try to understand that technology. And when you're comfortable with working and building projects in that technology, then you can think of learning other things. And also, while learning the technologies, one mistake I've noticed about those coming in the tech firm, those that are new to tech, I noticed that most of them, they learn technologies, but they find it hard to comprehend. They don't study the foundations of these technologies. For instance, if one was to learn a technology that was built on Python, for instance, maybe someone learning Django framework, for instance, there is no way you would understand Django so well enough if you don't study the programming language Python. Okay, there's no way you would understand any JavaScript framework very well if you haven't studied JavaScript programming language. So I do advise, while learning a technology, spend time to delve into the foundation, learn the roots. If it's built upon a programming language, try to understand that programming language, because that would reinforce the knowledge that you get from learning that technology. The last thing, okay, the other two things I have to advise is, first off, build projects. Okay, I've mentioned that before. But sometimes I notice that some struggle with building projects because they try to build it on their own. So I do advise, learn from others, learn the project that others have built, watch tutorials on projects that others have built. Then after you've learned that, you would have enough knowledge to be able to build things on your own. So it's so simple and very, very vital. Then the final thing is they have to practice. Okay, practice interviewing, practice writing code, practice the technology you've learned, practice, practice, and practice. I figure out that those who succeed in tech are not the most intelligent, they are not the most brilliant, they are not the smartest, they are just the most resilient. Anyone who is a successful software engineer today has a lot of resilience. So practice, even when you're failing it, keep on practicing. That's actually the best way to improve. You keep practicing and then you learn to never give up. And while you're practicing, you think of ways that you could do things efficiently. Okay, there are lots of ways to do things efficiently while learning tech. So you learn the efficient way, learn from others, ride on the soldiers of giants, learn from others that are better than you. And yeah, don't look back when you start. Check your knowledge gaps and improve. And again, sorry, there's another thing that just came to my mind right now. I also figured out that some newbies in tech, they struggle to excel in a job. So I would advise, if you're a newbie and you're watching this, whenever you land a job, because I'm sure you're going to land a job if you do all these things very well. Whenever you land a job, please ask questions. Okay, don't be ashamed to ask questions. I find that some of them, they try to be self-sufficient and try not to show that they are not knowledgeable about the technology or about, a skill. But please ask questions, ask the right people, ask your supervisors, ask your team. While you're asking questions, it doesn't mean that you're not qualified for the job. It just means that you want to try to do things the right way. Okay. I've also noticed that there are some junior developers that I've worked with that couldn't excel in their jobs. And I was willing to help, but they weren't asking questions. So I kept on asking, how could I help? How can I help? But I wasn't getting, they tried, and at the end of the day, they lost the job, all because they didn't have enough knowledge and they couldn't ask for help. So don't be ashamed. I ask questions. All those that have mentored me know me as someone who asks a lot of questions. But while doing this, while asking questions, I grew, I learned, and I'm where I am today because others have helped me to get to this point. So please don't be ashamed to ask questions and it will help you. I wish you all the best in your tech career if you're a newbie and you're watching this.
Yeah, that is very cool. The advice that you have given is really very good. And yeah, yeah, after you get the job, if you didn't ask question or you didn't speak up, then it will be difficult for them, right? Because
Hmm.
they have to in the new place, they don't know anything. So you need
Hmm.
to grab the knowledge what they are doing in the team. Unless you ask, you don't know anything. So yeah, I think that is very good point that you have just mentioned. So yeah, thank you so much for your advice and the suggestion for the newbies who wants to be like a software engineer. They should follow the advice that John has given. So it will be really very helpful. I don't want to be very long conversation with the audience, because this is for the people who want to be the IT engineer. They have some questions regarding, like, in the interview also there is a lot of like the steps, right, to be conquered. Like there is a lot of steps they have to do, like the interview, like a technical interview, the simple interview, like with the hiring manager. Do you have any experience you want to share with the?
Okay, regarding interviewing, the first thing about interviewing is that you can't get it right at first. Okay, no one got it right at first. While in my career, I have discovered that it's one thing to know about a technology, it's one thing to know about, to practice a technology and use it and build projects, and it's another thing to know how to interview for a position that you're going to use that technology. So, regarding interviewing, I do advise doing prep interviews. Okay, there are lots of platforms out there that one could use. Exponent is one of it's a very great resource. Actually, I use their service Exponent, and also in terms of data structures and algorithms, you could use Pram. Okay, try to learn the basics of the technology, the basic things that would be asked in an interview. Because while learning a technology, that most of these technologies, for instance, their documentation are so large, you might have lots of things to study. But there are some key things that you should know while you are interviewing for that position. Okay, so just try. I do advise try to learn those things, figure out those things first, spend time learning them, then spend time practicing. These resources I mentioned earlier on, Exponent and Pram, I've used them and they've really helped me because they have a platform where you would randomly be paired with different persons from different parts of the world, and you would ask yourself questions. So you could ask yourself questions in system design, you could ask yourself questions in data structures and algorithms, things like that. So things like that will help. Time goes on, you get better and better and better in passing interviews. So it's a continuous process. So learn the basics, learn the key things you need for that position, learn the vital things, then practice interviewing it. And if you have a friend who is a software engineer or who can practice with you, good. You could tell them to interview you, and later they would give you an evaluation of how well you've done. So all these things is gonna help one to be able to become better in doing in passing dev interviews.
Yeah, I think that is a good thing that you have said. Like the mock interviews, we can do the mock interviews with the friends or any person who is looking for the job. They can
Mhm.
be together like a peer programming as well. They can do the peer programming. They can learn themselves like with a group, right? We can use that as a platform, and they can share their knowledge, share their learnings, like how the idea that they have done previously, they can share with them, and we can learn together, right?
Yeah, sure, sure. You can.
Hmm.
All these things is gonna help. It will help one to improve. And as time goes on, don't. I believe one should not be discouraged when an interviewing, when one has a bad interviewing experience. But the truth is that we've all had
Yeah.
something of that sort. We've all had interviews that didn't go well. We've all had that. So don't feel like it's the end of the road for you. But just try to figure out the things that you missed out on and the things you could work on. So all those things are going to help you to improve. Yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, yeah, that is very cool. Thank you so much, John, for that one. And I think the one who wants to come in the IT like a field, they know pretty much. They get a very good advice from you. And if anyone who wants to reach out to you, do you have anything they can, like, best way to connect with you so that they can ask questions for you?
Yeah, I do advise anyone that wants to reach out to me, just hit on my LinkedIn and send me a message. So just drop a message for me on LinkedIn and I will respond as soon as I get it. So that's my
Oh,
advice
thank you so
because
much
yeah,
for your, yeah. Thank you so much, John. Yeah, this is really very helpful for my audience, because if someone wants to reach out regarding the software like engineer, like the initial like phase, right? How they can do more. If they have any questions, you can. Yeah, I will put like I can put it on your like description over here, your LinkedIn like a link, so
profile.
that they can reach out to you, and it will be very helpful if yeah, anybody can get the help from us regarding this podcast. So I'm really very thankful and very much appreciate that you have came here and give me the time to share your experiences about the IT related job and your own like the Nigeria. I have learned a lot from you today about the so thank you so much for coming in, and yeah, yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Sunita, for having me, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you. So anyone like who is tuning in here, thank you so much for listening us. So if you want any IT related topics you want to hear from this podcast, please share your thoughts on the comments. If you like this video or if you like this podcast, so do like the podcast, like my channel, which will be very much motivated for me for doing more and more into like videos that I will be coming with. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me. Also you can see we can get my email on my description, and also the Instagram account I have put in there, and also the LinkedIn account I will be mentioned in the description. So stay tuned, and hope you all are doing good, and stay healthy and happy. Thank you. Thank you, John, for joining me.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.